We brought in 10 different albums today, and we have to decide which songs are we actually saving from these track lists. And this is a bit different from our other series, which is called Do These Albums Have Any Skips?
Yes, sir.
Where we actually pinpoint the skips. But with this, it's more about which songs are essential. Which ones are we actually going back to and saving? So let us know what you guys would choose in the comments, and subscribe if you are new to NFR. But let's get started with the first album. We have Donda. Read me out which songs you're saving.
All right, just a disclaimer before I actually get into this. How I judged this was actually songs that I put into my rotation.
Yep.
So I might think a song is really good, or maybe that it's well written, or it's a highlight on the album, but it just might not make my rotation. And this is my honest list for Donda. So at number 1, I have Moon. 2, I have Life of the Party. 3, Believe What I Say. 4, 24. 5, Lord, I Need You. 6, Junior. 7, Come to Life.
Wow.
8, Keep My Spirit Alive. 9, Heaven and Hell. 10, Jonah. 11, Okay, Okay. And 12, Jesus Lord. So
that's it? Only 12?
So I'm keeping 12 songs. Again, this is what makes my rotation.
Yeah.
And this doesn't mean that the rest are skips. This is just really what I'm going back to at the time of this recording.
By the way, I don't have Life of the Party here because I didn't actually include anything off the actual deluxe.
Oh, okay.
But I have Jail. I have God Breathed. I have Off the Grid. Hurricane. Praise God. Jonah. Believe What I Say. 24. Moon. Heaven and Hell. Keep My Spirit Alive. Jesus Lord. New Again. Pure Souls. Come to Life. No Child Left Behind. And Jesus Lord Part 2. So I have 17 out of 27. And I think that there's no debate that all the Part 2s on this were so fucking useless, bro. Like, they literally decided to take the strongest features on the album and replace them with some of the worst. Like, what is Ty Dolla $ign doing on Junior?
It's not that bad of a feature,
when
though.
Ty Dolla $ign has a bad feature, the song's cursed. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think it's that bad of a Ty Dolla $ign feature. Like the Baby on Jail, that was just absolutely useless. I don't think that was needed. But regardless, though, okay, so we have some outliers here. I'm happy that we have the regulars. But yeah, I wanted to bring in Life of the Party. Of course, that's still in rotation.
What about Okay, Okay?
I have it. I said it. Yeah. Okay.
Really?
Okay. I love the hook on that. Yeah, I like the hook on it.
Fabio moaning all over the track.
It's not that bad.
It's
not horrible. I like those types of rapping performances from Kanye, and I think that's what I wanted to go back to with the project, because there's obviously stronger tracks than this one, but once in a while, if I'm down, I'll actually throw it on. You know, it's actually a solid rapping performance from Kanye.
Did you have Believe What I Say in this?
Of course I did.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What about Praise God with Travis and Baby Keem?
No, I did not include that all that much. I tried like the God Breathed, and even like, let's say, the Praise Gods. I love those songs. I think they're extremely well crafted. It was just that they were so heavily played during the rollout and during that moment where like I kind of heard enough of them to a certain extent.
Wow, okay.
So this is like really what I want to go back to, songs that I maybe want to go back to because maybe they've grown on me, but that's what I have kept out of this.
The one that's surprising maybe to you is that I did not include Lord, I Need You. Did you have that there?
I had it, but I'm okay with it. It wasn't the strongest cut, but I was going through the track list and it's around like close to 50% in, and I'm like, you know what? I go back to this.
Choir is so out of sync on that track.
No,
and
it's good. That's what I like.
Even
though.
Ye singing, like, it's shaky, it's crackly. I don't find it that good, and that's why I never go back to it. But let's keep on going with the next album. We have Pink Tape by Lil Uzi Vert, an album that we've been vocal about in terms of how much we're actually keeping and the fact that there's just so much bloat on here. So take me through what you have.
All right. So in total, at the moment of this recording, I have 6 songs that I've kept.
Okay.
So I go back to Flood of the Face. I go back to A featuring Travis Scott. I go back to Crush Him. I go back to I Gotta, All Alone, and then Zoom. That's my rotation for the Pink Tape.
Okay.
What do you have in this rotation?
You know what? This is surprising. I thought I would have less than you, but I have 7.
Okay, all right.
Seven
all right.
songs.
What do you got?
I got Flooded the Face.
That's a W.
I have Spin Again.
Really?
Yes. I have I Gotta.
You didn't like that song off first listen.
It grew on me. That was one of the growers.
That's an interesting
I got
one.
Spin Again. I got I Gotta. I got Just Wanna Rock. I got Werewolf featuring Bring Me the Horizon. I got Pluto to Mars and Patience with Don Toliver.
Okay, so you don't have I Gotta on this one.
I do.
It's okay. Then what don't you have?
Crush 'em.
You don't have Crush 'em on this. It's a solid track.
It got so annoying to me. That hook just like it rang a certain way in my head, and I'm like, this is not it.
No way. And of course, I know you didn't like Zoom off of the first listen though.
So
that was
so sleepy and boring for me. I couldn't get behind that one. Do you have Patience with Don T?
I was considering it, but I'm like, okay, this is nothing too crazy. I've heard better Don Toliver performances. I've been engaged in better Uzi performances, to be honest with you. And you want to talk about something a bit sleepy? It's a bit sleepy. It's a good song. I think it's well crafted, and I think they have strong performances, but I'm not going back all that much. I think
the main takeaway from this is that like Uzi obviously wants to continuously grow as an artist and try out new shit, but it's just very obvious that like he's still in the process of trying to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
a lot of these experiments went sour. Like, for example, Chop Suey.
I agree with you.
That's why there's so much bloat, is what I'm saying.
I agree with you, but I think that Uzi fans appreciate that from him, and at least he's taking the dares. Listen, I don't think that it was executed all that well. I mentioned that in the review, but regardless, though, I didn't hear a single Uzi fan complain about the type of diversity they got. So,
what about Suicide Doors? That was a big song, and none of us put into what we're keeping.
Listen, I think it's an impressive song. You know how I felt about it off of the first listen. I was like, hey, I actually like this, but it's just not my style like that. I'm not going to be playing this. On my
thing
personal
is that
rotation.
like it's not a skip, and I don't mind if I'm hearing it at a festival. But if I'm waking up in the morning in my fucking bed, bro, like snoozing the alarm and like getting my morning started, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, but you're not going back to this album for a morning routine.
I'm just saying, I don't want to be cooking fucking lunch, bro, and have Suicide Doors with all the growling and fucking ringing off on my phone.
Yeah,
you know?
I get you. Let's see actually how this rings. I'm for sure
at festivals.
I'm for sure gonna hear this at Rolling Loud.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
This song is gonna be going crazy at Rolling Loud. But okay, let's continue going on with this. Let's go on to Scorpion by Drake, and this album is actually heavy. I love
famous
this album.
double album
and
by
like,
the boy.
For my personal rotation, I love revisiting this project because I do have songs in here. So I'll go through my rotation. Survival's in there. Emotionalist is in there. 8 out of 10 is in there. Mob Ties. Can't Take a Joke. Sandra's Rose. Is There More? Jaded.
Yes.
That's How You Feel.
Yes.
And Don't Matter to Me. 10 songs.
That's it. Wow.
10 songs.
I have 18.
How do you have? What do you mean you
I have 18
Bro, these
songs.
are keeps. How do you get through 18
Absolutely.
songs?
Bro, I'm not playing them all in sequence all day, every day.
Okay, did you
Fucking
include the Nice
chill
for
out.
What? What did you include?
Of course I included Nice for What.
No, I don't go back to Nice for What.
Of course
you go
I
back
do.
to In My Feelings and like God's Plan. Wow,
I'll go back to those, bro.
you really do.
Yeah, they were huge
You'll
moments in Drake's career, and if I'm spinning Scorpion as an album, I'll play them. I'll enjoy them.
All right, you just finished Tennis. It's 10 at night. You're going back and you're like, let me put on some God's Plan.
Fuck yeah.
Wow,
I won't play it as much as some of the other songs, but let me take you through what I have.
All right.
Survival, which did you include?
Of course.
Okay. Elevate, Emotionless.
Maybe Elevate I could have included.
God's Plan. 8 out of 10. Mob Ties.
Yeah.
Can't Take a Joke.
W.
Sandra's Rose.
W.
Is There More?
W.
Jaded.
W.
Nice for What? That's How You Feel.
W.
Blue Tint.
Yeah.
In My Feelings. Don't Matter to Me. After Dark. Final Fantasy. So underrated.
No.
And March 14th.
No.
But the March 14th is the one that I was debating the most. I'm like,
come on.
I don't know.
The only two that I think that you would have been able to get out of me is honestly
Nice for What?
the blue tint, and then after not Nice for What. I'm not going back. I just don't go back.
Why? It's too big, bro. You're too cool for school to go back to
I'm sorry. Desensitization is a thing, bro. Sometimes I'm not down for a Big Mac. I'm sorry. I'm not down. I'd rather go home and cook. I'm sorry. I'm not down.
Yeah. What's shocking though is that none of us have Nonstop, which is a fan favorite off of Scorpion. I really think that it's like one of those songs, like a Knife Talk, where it doesn't sound like a Drake song. It sounds like Drake is forcing that style, and I feel like his energy didn't match the tempo and the mood of that high voltage Take Heath beat. I feel like that's what was off.
I don't know. I just found it a bit of a sleepy, laid back performance from Drake. Like, it's a hype song,
but he's not hyped.
Yeah, but he's not necessarily hyped like that. So I don't know. I've always had a disconnect with it. I'm Upset was another one that I'm considering.
Oh, what?
I know you don't like that song, but I like it. It's just a vibe to play.
One of Drake's worst.
No, come on now. You see, I'd rather go back to that than God's Plan, if I'm being quite honest with you. But okay,
horrible.
let's continue going on with this. Let's go on to a massive album that released in the 2020 decade. This is Legends Never Die by Juice WRLD. We have a lot of Juice WRLD fans here, so let me see how many you kept out of this. For myself,
I have a lot here. I'm not gonna lie.
I have 7.
Okay, fair.
I have Titanic, Bad Energy, Smile featuring The Weeknd,
Nice.
Tell Me You Love Me,
Yep.
Wishing Well,
Yep.
Stay High, and Can't Die. Those are my 7. What do you got?
I think I have all of those except for Can't Die. So I have Conversations. I have Righteous. I have Blood on My Jeans.
Okay.
I have Smile featuring The Weeknd. I have Tell Me You Love Me with Trippy.
Yeah,
I
that's a
have
great
Hate
song.
the Other Side with Kilderoy and Polo.
You go back to that like that?
I'll go back to it, yeah.
I don't know.
I actually, I'm not going to lie to you. I actually really like the Marshmallow songs that Juice WRLD did. Like,
That's
it just
true. That was a
added
good record.
totally different production style for him. And
It's just not my style like that, if I'm being considered. Like, I really had to consider my rotation here. That's why I think I'm going to be a bit harsher on this episode. It's just because I'm really thinking about it. Like, what am I actually going back to and using for my personal rotation?
So Wishing Well, Screw Juice, Up and Away, The Man, The Myth, The Legend interlude, Stay High, and Man of the Year.
Okay, so you have a lengthy keep list.
I have
on
13
this.
out of 22.
I have 7 out of 22 on this one.
Yeah, and listen, I didn't have to include the interlude, but it was just a cool moment where, like, you have Eminem, J. Cole, Young Thug, like, just giving like praise to Juice WRLD and just talking about how much of a talent he was. And if I'm running through the tracks, I won't mind listening to that again.
No, it's
it was
a
a
cool
nice
moment. Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. I love
Yeah.
it when artists are able to do that. They create cinematic value through emotion, and that type of recording is really cool. I was just thinking about more stuff. What am I going to go bump? As far as my list goes, honestly, what I was really impressed with off like my second listen, because and I don't mean my second listen ever, just like going over like the track list again, I was realizing how cohesive it actually is as one full listen. I'm like, for a posthumous release, this was actually really well put together. Like there's this sort of like light punk rock sort of aesthetic to the track list that I feel like is super youthful, and that probably connected a bunch of new generation listeners to, you know, punk rock from the early 2000s and got them back into that sort of mode. I like what Juice WRLD did on a lot of the hooks on these songs as well. I feel like his melodies and the way that he's laying down his vocals is always super smooth. He has like this lightheartedness to his vocals that I think really carried his talent and allowed him to do a lot. So talk to me about your keeps.
And yeah, that's why I enjoy those Marshmello songs. Like you were saying, that's where you get those 90s, 2000s pop rock vibes throughout those productions. But I feel like I would have kept more songs off of this album if you got more of those like raw rapping tracks. There's barely any rapping performances for the most part.
It was a bit more polished on that end, where you didn't get those sort of like raw Juice WRLD performances with the heavy rapping. But I think that's
like you should have, though.
Yes,
because that's one of the sort of avenues that he really strives in, bro.
Well, who knows? But maybe you would have gotten another album after this one that would have had a certain type of vibe to it.
I think, and the songs I didn't keep, it's just because at a certain point in the track list, a lot of the songs do sort of bleed into each other and start sounding alike. So that's why I didn't keep a lot of songs. But nonetheless, let's move on to Jackman by Jack Harlow, an album that you have in your top 10 albums of 2023. What are you keeping? Don't tell me 10 out of 10.
9 slot. It is not 10 out of 10. I kept 6 songs. I kept 60% of the track list. The songs I keep are They Don't Love It. I keep Ambitious. Is That Right? Denver, It Can Be, and Blame on Me. All extremely strong tracks, extremely personal. I love the sample flips within all of these and all the types of different styles that Jack Harlow is attacking. So go through yours. What do you got?
I got 4 out of 10 on this one.
We're in the same ballpark here.
We are. I got They Don't Love It.
Okay, that's
I got Is That Right? It Can't Be, and Blame on Me.
So you didn't go back to Ambitious. This was a song that you liked off of the first listen because it had like that J. Cole-esque like chipmunk soul sort of implemented.
Aren't you more surprised I don't have Denver, since that's like your favorite cut on
I was going to talk to you about that, but I was just trying to go from the bottom up. So why didn't you include that on the list?
When it came to Denver, I mean, I just feel like when it comes to that song, it is a big cliche, just like Jack literally says in the song. And yes, it's cool to get him in that reflective zone, but his articulation is so boring.
Nah,
and
it's
the beat
fire.
is also
The
flat.
perspective
I'm sorry,
switches is
you have to
cool.
be clever. You have to be
Sorry.
clever and poetic within your writing to keep me engaged. And within a song like that, especially, and Jack just doesn't do it for me. And he even has like this weird diss towards Dele Alli, the soccer player. I don't know if you picked up on it, but he has a bar where he goes, sober and focused, I cannot go down any Dele Allis.
Fire.
Bro,
cool little football reference there. It's true. What's Daly? What's Ali doing now? The guy's having a hard time in the Turkish league. You know what I'm trying to say? It's cool. It's cool. I like it.
It's a weird diss.
I get it. Maybe it's not for you, but Denver is undeniably one of the strongest songs on this track list.
Blame on Me is so much better. The perspective shifting, the fact that Jack Harlow is actually telling you a personal story, like that was unlike any other song he's ever made, and that's why I appreciate it.
I guess. I can't believe you don't have Denver. That's a clear standout here. Honestly, I would be taking Denver over a lot of these tracks that I have on my keeps. But yeah, I mean, listen, this is an album I hold to high regard for this year that I'm really enjoying, especially after more listens that I do get, because I do like Jack Harlow's rapping, and I kept 6 out of 10 on it.
Okay, I thought you would keep more. At least you were
no, I'm not
honest
keeping
with
like the no enhancers and the gangs. Like, no, come on, get that out of them, you know? All right, let's continue going on with this. Let's go on to I Never Liked You by Future. And honestly, revisiting this track list, bro, I don't have much still to this date.
Really? I went up compared to what I had.
Okay, how many do you have?
I have 7 out of 16.
I have 4 out of 16.
Okay. It's not far off.
I have 4. What were I know the 4 locks you have, okay, because they're my locks. I have 7-12 locked in, Puffin' on Zooties locked in, Gold Stacks locked in, and Chickens locked in.
I have 4 out of those 7 as well. Of course. But my 3 that I included, I'm That Guy, which is the second song.
Okay.
Bro, he goes fucking off.
It's okay.
Because he keeps up the momentum from 712, the intro. The momentum is still there. Then I ended up keeping Wait For You. Did you have that one?
No, I don't have that.
I have Wait For You. I love the Thames performance.
You go back to Wait For You.
I'll go back to Wait For You, absolutely.
What's that rotation looking like? You have like a Virgin Radio like playlist going on.
Just because
you got the Wait For You's in there and like the God's Plan. Come on.
Why can't I like bangers? What's wrong with that?
I'm sorry. We've had too many different conversations about this track on the podcast for you to be like, oh, well, I finally have it in my rotation. Come on.
I'm not crazy about the song, but I'll go back to it here and there. I'm not crazy about it. Anyway,
listen, maybe I'm a bit tighter with my rotation.
That grew on me the most is Massaging Me, bro. Future is in like this Dawn bag, and he finds the perfect pockets within like these strokes of keys that are in the production. It's fucking amazing. That's a really great song.
You know what's funny? That was one of the songs off the review that we like disliked like the most.
I know,
of it.
And that's what's crazy.
I went back to it and I dislike it even more.
Oh, what? You're tripping,
I
bro.
really don't enjoy that record, but whatever. You know, it's personal taste at this point. But yeah, going back to it. Has it grown for you? Maybe an overall quality?
Overhyped. Still an overrated album. I think that Future with the For the Nut songs on there, even something like I'm On One, which is one of the most popular songs off that album.
That's cheesy.
You're getting a horrific performance.
It's really not
from
good.
Drake. I'll be honest with you, bro.
I don't like that Drake feature. But listen, maybe it's for some people, but it is not for me. But let's continue going on with this. Let's go on to Sex, Money, Drugs by Lucky. And this was a major surprise because we did this live album reaction last Friday. And we weren't expecting the most, but we were like, you know what, Lucky could actually deliver. So let's go into this. Our community was hyped.
And let's be honest, we thought we weren't gonna like it that much.
I thought it was gonna like it. It was just I was a bit skeptical because it was the first time we ever did a live album reaction to Lucky in the community. So it was like, okay, what is this gonna sound like when I'm sitting in the podcast chair and actually going through it?
How many?
9 saves on this.
9? Wow, I have 5.
9 saves on this one. Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I want to say this before I even get into the list. I feel like this is an album that you could start and then you could finish with just on replay. I feel like it's one of those albums where you don't really have to concentrate much while you're listening to it. It's a lot of like mood setting and shit like that. And I think there is quality on here. So number 1, I have Vert. I love the strings on that track. No Bap, Super Ski, 2021 Vibes, Mubu, Straight Syrup, Purple Heart Ski, Karma a Bitch, and New York. That makes 9.
All right, well, I have all 5 that you had in your list. So I have Vert, I have 2021 Vibes, I have Purple Heart Ski, I have Karma a Bitch, and New York. And I think that like with this track list, Lucky obviously proved that he's one of the best beat pickers in the trap game. But I feel like because of how slurred and sleepy his delivery is for the entirety of this thing, a lot of these amazing beats go to waste where you're like, if other artists had these,
I don't agree with you.
This would be fire.
I don't agree with you. I think Lucky
production carried, bro. Come on.
It's a big component of the album. It's a big component of the album.
It's not a big component. It carried.
It did not carry the track list. I think that's false to say. I think what Lucky did well here is that he understood the assignment for every single production, and he was able to have this sort of relaxed and laid back delivery that meshed in so well with these quirky-esque productions. Like listening to the strings on Vert and being able to match a cadence to be able to go along with those types of strings is extremely difficult, and they were still subdued, but yet he's able to make his presence felt on a track. You get on something like 2021 Vibes, it's nice, it's bouncy, it's almost a bit melodic. He's using that slurred delivery. I love that type of dynamic. Also, as I said before, I'm not using this album to get like an adrenaline rush. That's not really what I'm here for. I just want to hear fantastic production and good to decent rapping on here to where I could just be, doing my thing and going along with my day. It's not something you really have to think about.
I know, but it's like when all the performances and the style is so similar, I'm only going to choose my favorites because I can't listen to 7 Lucky songs in a row.
Okay, I understand.
I can't do it.
I understand. Okay, that's a very fair concern. But I think what does help that factor for me is the diversity in production choices. That's something that you can't question. But okay, next album, the Spider-Verse soundtrack, and this was curated by Metro Boomin, a massive album for the community. I think it's one of the best streaming albums this year, and people are definitely revisiting it. But I don't think that's the case for me because I only have 3 saves.
Wow, I have 6 saves out of this.
Wow, you're really going. How do you have time for all this music, bro? Jeez,
you had double the amount on Lucky. What do you mean, bro?
That's tough. I know, but you're going back to the soundtrack like this. Okay, I'll tell you my 3.
To some songs,
I'll tell you my 3. I got Hummingbird with James Blake. I have Nonviolent Communication with James Blake, A$AP Rocky, and 21 Savage, and then I have Link Up with Don Toliver, Wizkid, Beam, and Toyin. That's my 3.
Wow, we have totally different lists. I got Annihilate by Sway Lee, Offset, and Lil Wayne, the best hook on the entire project. I have All the Way Live with Future and Uzi. I have Danger Spider with Offset and JID.
Oh, that's such an underwhelming performance from Offset. Anyways, keep going with
Hummingbird with James Blake. Calling with Sway Lee, Nav, and A Boogie. amazing fucking Nav performance, especially during a time where Nav hasn't been releasing that much heat. I really enjoyed it. And then you have home, with Don Toliver and Uzi. So I have 6 out of 13. And what's interesting is that first run of 6 tracks, I'm taking 5 out of 6. So that's like the strongest component of the album to me is that first half.
Honestly, I'm not even looking at the album this way. There's no replay value for me on it, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm not going back to a Spider-Man soundtrack like that on my Monday morning. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, it has some bops.
But listen, I do have my songs that I think are extremely strong. Example, Link Up with Don Toliver, WizKid, Beam, and Toyin. I love the sort of like island vibes that the track has. Gets you in a nice groove. And we do know that the album has to be non-cursing. There has to be like sort of a guidance.
Which isn't a problem.
It's not a problem for me, but I do think that these types of tracks do fit best in this sort of thing where you don't necessarily have to compromise like vocabulary in a rap performance, but I feel like it did play on the project's sort of strong suits, if that makes sense.
Even
to
a
you.
song like Calling with Nav and A Boogie and Sway Lee, it's a love song. It's melodic. You don't need swearing there either. So even for the songs I picked,
It's
I
a bit
feel like
boring of a song. Like you're getting average performances from each and every single one of them. Whether it's A Boogie, dude,
they put a lot of passion and emotion into those melodies, bro. I'm telling you, go back.
Listen, going back to Nav's performance, I will give him credit. I do think that's strong, but yeah, even something like Nonviolent Communication, that was one of the production's
boring.
fire. Production's fire.
Talk about mediocre verses. Look at what 21 Savage is
It's
doing
really
on there.
not that bad. It's not that bad whatsoever. He just delivered the same type of flow on Business is Business. So I don't know what you're listening to, but okay, all right. What do you
Also,
got?
what's interesting is that Nas Morales, which is a fucking Nas song, is not making either of our rotation. And I think it's because when you have 3 amazing Nas albums from the last couple of years, are you really gonna go back to this one? Like out of all songs? Fuck no.
That's a sleepy one.
Yeah.
That puts you right to bed like NyQuil, you know?
Absolutely. Next up, we got The House is Burning by Isaiah Rashad. I have...
Let me go for mine first.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll tell you
How
mine
many?
first.
How many?
I got 12.
I'm not far off. I got 11.
Oh, yeah?
I got 11.
You've always been kind of skeptical of this album
Yeah,
to a
I have
certain
been.
extent.
But I think the highs are really fucking high.
W in my books. Dark Side, Rest in Peace Young, Claymore, Headshots, All Herb, Hey Mista, What You Said, Don't Shoot, Chad, Scored, The House is Burning, and Happy Birthday to You. 12.
Dark Side, Rest in Peace Young, Lay With Ya, Claymore.
Okay, Lay With Ya made it.
Absolutely.
I didn't go back.
Wow. Headshots, All Herb, Hey Mista, What You Said, Score, The House is Burning, Happy Birthday to You. I'm not a fan of Chad. Like, despite him like paying tribute to Pimp C and having the whole like Mercedes hook, I can't do Chad.
It's so bouncy and wavy. He's so good at doing the whole cloud rap thing, and this is sort of like the pinnacle of that, in my opinion. Don't Shoot, the hook is absolutely infectious. Don't shoot. Like the way that he actually extends his vocals there, I really do like that. But listen, I'm happy that we have a lot of the same stuff. I mean, the Dark Sides, the Rest in Peace Youngs, Headshots. Honestly, I thought I was going to put Lay With Ya in here, but as of late, because I do use this track list often for when I'm in my creative sessions or I'm trying to get like inspiration maybe for some new NFR branding, what I'll do is that I'll just throw it on, and every time like Lay With Ya comes on, I think it's more of the hyped up track of the album, and it's that sort of banger.
That's not the vibe that you're on when you're listening.
Exactly.
Okay,
it kind of disrupts the mood of me and like what I'm doing with this track list, because you have such like a mellow sort of energy throughout the track list. So that's what I have.
That's fair enough. But yeah, Lay With Ya is more of like a whip kind of song. You know what I mean? Like
it is.
I'll listen to that late at night.
But I'm going back to other songs from Isaiah for that sort of stuff. Like I'll go back to A Park, for example, you know?
Yeah.
Or like a
too.
Modest.
I prefer Lay With Ya.
Those are my sort of like late whip Isaiah songs.
Yeah, I prefer Lay With Ya to Park.
All right, but let's keep going on with this. Let's go on to Compton by Dr. Dre, our last album on the list today. This makes the 10th album,
bro.
And this has been a fun episode.
This is a great fucking album. I mean, Dre really hasn't missed. There's a lot to return to with this one. Take me through what you kept.
All right, 7 songs off of this one.
I have more.
What do you have? How many you got?
11.
Oh, wow.
11 again.
Wow. Okay, let me go through my 7. I have Talk About It. I have Genocide. I have All in a Day's Work. I have Deep Water, Just Another Day, Medicine Man, and Talking to My Diary. Those are my 7. What do you got?
Medicine Man ain't it, bro.
What?
That is not it.
What?
Yeah.
No.
I really don't like Medicine Man. Let me go through my keeps, though. I have to talk about it.
No way.
I knew I was going to get that reaction out of you.
What a song.
So overrated. And anyways, I'll get to it later. Talk about it. I have Genocide. I have Dark Side Gone. I have Loose Cannons. I have Issues. I have Deep Water. I have One Shot, One Kill. Amazing John Connor verse there. Just Another Day. I have For the Love of Money. I have Animals with Anderson .Paak. And then I have Talking to My Diary, which I'm surprised you didn't have.
I have Talking to My Diary.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Of course. What do you mean? It's probably my favorite song on this entire album. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like the message.
It's like the message for Compton, exactly.
It really is.
Yeah, that's
Medicine Man. What's your bone to pick with Medicine Man? Why did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed?
The Eminem. There's no waking up. I woke up on the right side of the bed with this decision. So Eminem's verse is cool. It's standard Eminem. I like it, but I really dislike Dre's verse on the song. It sounded to me, I'll be honest with you, it sounded to me like he was trying too hard to mimic an Eminem type flow. And just going through it, it's not engaging.
Deep, come on.
It is.
No,
it's
really not.
And even like the foreplay to the song in the beginning, it lasts too long. Like, I want to get that Eminem verse right off the bat.
It's a classic Dre and
me.
Eminem type collaboration.
No, it's not a classic. Don't put it with the guilty consciences, bro.
No, it's not. I'm just saying it's like that sort of cookie clutter Dre and Eminem song that's always going to hit. You have the lead and the cinematic value at the beginning. It's almost like the I Need a Doctor of like this whole Compton track list to a certain extent, because you have them thanking each other. It's sort of this victory lap for
average
both of them.
Songs. Like,
no,
I'm not doing anything.
And especially if you watch the documentary, The Defiant Ones. I love referencing this documentary in the podcast. The way that they used this song was so cool because it was at the part of Detox, and they were talking about why it never came out, and then you have this playing in the background. The production is wicked. It's so sick sonically. So come on.
But yeah, I think ultimately really slept on album. A lot of replay value. You're getting some of Dre's best verses of his career.
What did you find going back was the biggest gem?
The biggest gem going back?
I have two of them.
I'll probably have to go. I want to go with Dark Side Gone. I was really amazed by the Kendrick verses on here.
Yeah, that's a good song. I'm just not keeping it because I go back more to Genocide, and I'll go back more to Deep Water.
Bro, Kendrick's verse on Gone. Trust me, that means you haven't played it, bro. I did.
I went back to. Okay, maybe I got to go back to it. Okay, my two gems. Just Another Day with the Game, bro. That song's crazy.
Yeah,
I went back to it.
I know.
Sounds like a classic Dre and the Game sort of collaboration. And then I would go on all in a day's work. Anderson .Paak and Marsha Ambrosius.
Yes.
That's an incredible song.
That one's really good.
That's a top tier Anderson .Paak performance.
Yeah, but,
incredible stuff.
I think ultimately the biggest surprise of this episode is that I saved more than you do, and like usually you end up actually being a bit easier on certain albums, I feel like, when it comes to skips or whatever else.
Because the way that I look at music is very different than the way that I consume it. That's the best way I could put it. Like when I like to analyze stuff, I kind of take myself out of the scenario, and then once an album ages with me, that's when I decide, hey, what am I just gravitating towards my ear? But I think there's a lot more that goes into it just besides my ear. So listen, guys. Let us know how you feel about this episode. Thank you so much for the recent support of NFR Podcast. You guys are always here. You guys are always showing us love. It's just amazing to see you guys in the comment sections on every single video. So with that being said, let me know in the comment section what was the biggest surprise here for today's episode. And let me know, should we do a part 2 to this? Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.